Inkcharm Project presents.
Roof water, gutter water, and bucket. The three standards of drinking in Rysende. Found across nearly every tavern and inn. Though, folks the continent over know better than to try bucket. Hello and welcome to Warparty, an original setting that we're exploring through the lens of D&D 5e. I'm Dana.
I'm Michaela.
I'm Hannah.
I am a book that knows too much.
Today we're returning to the Book of Reflections, Chapter 3, Landfall. On the second day of spring's crow moon, the Reflections' third week of sailing begins. Landfall is predicted to be a week out, and your ship's guests appear to have grown friendly towards you. Xiaoming is also getting along well, offering to help with the sails whenever she sees an opportunity. And Kaban, you have an opportunity yourself to continue conversations with Jidong. Aura, you will find time to go below decks and perhaps cast Sending, as you've been hinting at your desire to do so.
Oh, I did not forget about that.
Anita, your training is going to go swimmingly. We checked in with that last time. But Nettle's training may be another story. That being said, Kaban, we'll begin here. How's your conversation with Jidong going?
At the moment, it seems rather friendly at the very least. Although Kaban's coming off as, well, disturbingly amicable to most of the crew, he's clearly trying to pump the man for at least a little bit of information.
Well, start pumping away, Kaban.
It's a funny thing, Noble being out on such strange waters. So, tell me, what exactly brought you and your crew so far out to sea?
Well, to be fair, I am not on these waters as a noble, like you say. Truth be told, I'm more of a warrior. Perhaps in your culture you might call it a knight. I am in a higher standing, but not truly a noble. That may change in time, though, and hopefully, with all that I've done with my crew, we might be able to get me a little closer to such a seat of power. Now, as for the specifics, I might be keeping some of that a little closer to my chest. You know already where we were trying to go, looking to meet up with some Corin state officials and speak on matters which don't necessarily concern you. Beyond that, I'm not sure if I'm at liberty to divulge.
So more of a, what do you call them? Vassals?
You could think of me as being high-standing, but not something with true power to decide. I take orders, and I am pampered for how well I follow them, but I am not the one giving such orders, at least not at the level which I would like to.
I see. So, you're not one of these, Navy blokes who really just sits on the ship and gives daft orders, aye?
I can't say that that describes me, no. Though my crew may say otherwise. You can never be too sure.
Again, the kobold hands the man his rather depleted portion of particular drink and hopes of getting him just a little bit more drunk so he doesn't recognize the interior of the ship. Well, I suppose I couldn't blame him, all things considered. However, such a shipwreck is rarely ever just one man's fault.
Storms will get us. These things happen. It's not as if everybody has, I don't know, true expert sailors or those with some ability to shape water on their decks.
You flatter us, sir. But that is true. However, even I have fallen victim to the rogue wave once or twice. After all, as I said before, I know your situation very well. And I know firsthand that you're lucky you were found so quickly.
I do count it as being lucky, but such is the way of my people. We are loved by fate, high and low as the tides may be, but on the whole, I think that we enjoy a higher tide than most.
One could say that. However, I think a few of my previous crew might disagree with you.
Previous crew isn't with you now, and look where they might have ended up. They certainly didn't have you come across their ship if it was taken by a storm.
No, I was on that crew.
As the conversation carries on, let us pan our heads over and down and see what is going on with Captain Aura below decks. Perhaps the captain's quarters or some food storage areas.
Oh, I always forget I can go there. Okay, captain's quarters it is. This time I'm taking over the captain's quarters and I'm locking the door.
Even she forgets she's captain.
It's like, oh, shoot. Yeah, okay. Privilege. Okay, so she'll lock the door and she's gonna look around and she's going to find a short piece of fine copper wire and she's going to twist it almost like into a weird spiral, and that goes from her mouth and then out, away, somewhere and into a distance. Okay, magic is weird, huh? If Anita can do it, so can I. Okay, and she's going to take a deep breath and cast a spell with the words of, "Let my voice reach you wherever you may be." And then she's going to start telling her 25 letters of words to send the message to Bowers in somewhere, hopefully. Reach her in
And
the
who
Odyssey.
is Bowers?
Bowers is just a friend,
Uh-huh.
Give us the deets.
and
Spill the
Who
tea.
may or may not be a hot, dead redhead.
beautiful. Dead. Redhead. Not dead, though.
Why are you using the sending spell to reach her?
Because she is in a different plane, and I did promise her when I was leaving that I will
You're
send her a
telling me
message.
you've got a long-distance interplanar relationship
With a hot
between
redhead.
a cursed captain and a hot redhead that may
Honestly,
or may not
that's
be
the
dead.
dream.
You know,
Right there.
she never thought she'd get to this point, and she doesn't know how to feel about it. I'm
I think you
giddy.
need at least 3 people to run a keel boat.
Oh God, you know, possibly. I need to just cure my wife, get Bowers across the plains, and we're fine.
She's got a wife. She's also got an interplanar, possibly extra-dimensional hot redhead girlfriend on the side that
Oh,
she
boy.
is long distance with. Send your sending.
Okay,
Oh, my bad. You only need 1 person for a keel boat.
okay.
Carry
I
on.
can make it work for 3, potentially.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
would.
Okay, so she's going to send the spell and saying, and I counted this so I don't get this wrong. Bowers, it's Aura. I've been reading books about you by Libe, or by, that's Michaela, sorry. And your adventures and discoveries. Wanted to know if Libe caused your early demise? And she looks hopefully and tries to listen and channel all the magical energy that she has within her.
A very sultry voice resounds in your mind as a magical reply comes your way. Sending and sent back. Yes, this is Bowers. Aura, I didn't think you would actually talk to me again. Color me surprised. Please, do speak again soon. And then her voice cuts out as she is not as familiar with this spell.
She's like, oh shoot, I have to explain the spell to her. Okay. And she's going to look at her mind palace place and she's gonna try to okay, how can I explain the beginning and also hopefully get the answer that she needs. And while I figured that out, can we maybe go to someone else? While I
Yes.
figured this out.
Let's check in with Anita. Anita, your personal training has been going well, but you're also doing a little training of your own to someone or
Yes.
something.
Nettle, my little friend, my pseudo dragon. He's Mama's sweet baby boy.
He goes.
Yeah. And today, I'm not just teaching him how to jump. I am going to have him try to pickpocket.
Interesting.
Who is above decks with me?
Currently, you've got the monkey,
Okay.
Captain, that is, alongside Gershek, who is up in the crow's nest as per usual. You swear he's there all hours of the day and night, unless he's out
He doesn't
skulking
like us
around
very
or doing
much.
something. You're also going to find that Trisha Koo is watching the wheel, just in case, since Kaban has been kind of busy with conversation. And, you'll also see Reginald Farr is up there, and Tracker Deej, though she may or may not be napping.
Well, Tracker Deej, if she is napping, she would make a very easy target. I'm going to take a closer look at her. I know I've seen her napping a ton. I'm going to see if she really actually is sleeping.
Insight check.
15?
It seems that she's definitely sleeping. There's just a rise and fall to her chest that gives it away.
All right. So I'm going to pace ever so slowly, nonchalant, on the top deck of the ship. And as I'm walking with my little friend Nettle past Tracker Deej, I'm going to send Nettle just an image of him slowly pulling out a coin purse from Tracker Deej's belt. Slowly and quietly. I emphasize on this in my little mental image to him.
As if seeking confirmation, an emotion that can only be described as greed is fed back to you.
And I take that emotional greed and I try to stretch it out and slow it down. So you still get just as much, but it's at a slower pace.
Roll for animal handling.
Oh, gosh. What is that?
12.
That's not great. So 14.
14. All right, Nettle goes. "Arrgh." And then he hops away and kind of struts his way up towards the sleeping crewmate. He crawls up onto her boot and stares at her for a bit, uses his little tail stinger to kind of tap her boot, and when she doesn't move, he crawls up her pant leg, up onto her chest, and then realizes he's gone too far, so he turns around and then turns around again, and he's facing the way he was when he first got there, and then he turns around one more time, finally getting it right, and he starts going down towards the pocket. He's almost there, and then he sneezes.
No, that's cute.
The sneeze kind of lifts him into the air, since his wings flap with it, with the recoil, and then he kind of plops back down on her, and she awakens, seeing Nettle on her chest. She doesn't know what he's trying to do, but Nettle is spooked by this, and so attempts to sting her.
Nettle, no.
Luckily, Tracker Deej is kind of experienced in these things, and she pulls her hand back in time, says, "Nettle, what are you doing down there? What are you doing, Nettle? Nettle, what are you doing?" And Nettle just goes, "Rah!" And then he runs back to his mama, Anita, and he climbs up onto your shoulder, and he bites your ear.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
That's
A
fucking
needle chuckles and, scritches on him a little bit, saying, "Sorry, Deej, go back to your napping."
Deej says, "Aye, aye, Captain." And she is fast asleep once again soon enough.
All right. Well, Gershek is definitely not an easy target, but I think he'd have a little bit of humor in seeing what this pseudo dragon can do. So, I would like to climb into the crow's nest, and Nettle can fly or ride my shoulder or whatever he pleases.
Nettle just kind of latches his bitey mouth onto your shoulder and lets you carry him up that way. The rest of him is limp.
All right, I'm glad I have leather, what is it, pauldrons on?
Something.
So I get up there, I hanging out with Gershek. Is he awake?
Yes.
All right, I say to him, Gershek, what do your dwarf eyes see?
What do my eyes see? On the horizon?
Yes, I mean, where else are you looking?
Mostly water. Can't say I see any storms coming, at least.
That is excellent. As they are making chit-chat about the weather, because what else do you talk to a homicidal maniac about? Anita will send that same image to Nettle. With something, a little bit of like a silly emotion behind it. Like she's trying to hold back a mental laugh.
Roll for animal handling.
I knew it.
Nat 20 plus 2.
Nettle launches forward so fast. It's like he's pretending that he is an arrow because he's seen arrows. And so he launches forward and ends up kind of hitting Gershek right in the head, which makes a resounding, almost hollow thunk. and then, in doing so, Gershek is kind of pushed towards the edge, and he has to use both of his hands for a moment to kind of catch himself, which leaves his pockets free and clear. And Nettle goes down in there and fishes out one whole copper coin.
I'm so proud of him.
And he starts chewing on it. By the time it's in your hands, there are little teeth marks in it. He has very good teeth.
Very nice. Oh, this silly little thing. Gershek, aren't you proud of him?
Gershek, having almost fallen from the crow's nest, turns around and says, "Oh yeah, he knows the very best secrets. Cause a distraction is part of it. You've got a good little thief there. Thief in training, at least."
I think so too. If you ever want to do a little practice with him, I think he might be beneficial to us.
Yes, very beneficial. However, I must warn you, my services as a teacher don't come cheap there, quartermaster.
I'm not asking you to train an animal.
You don't want me to show you how to train your dragon?
If you want to entertain yourself by causing a little mischief, by all means.
You're quite a smooth talker, quartermaster. I can see why you're the one who handles the books.
Maybe not as smooth talking as I'd like. My last date didn't go so well.
There's always the second date, quartermaster.
Well, she's an O'Meary up in God knows where, past West Ironkin. We can't even sail a ship up there.
I can't say that's the most hopeful, but you never know what'll take you away from the water for a time. Sometimes it can be good to help you remember what's so good about that salty sailor's life.
Anita just smiles at this, kind of daydreaming about her last date with Bivlina. And she'll just kind of hang out for a bit and watch what's going on down on the deck.
Down on the deck. Oh, Kaban. How are you doing with your conversation?
Kaban is still pumping away, hoping to find at least something of the very least a little use. But at this point, he's at the very least 70% sure that this guy either doesn't know anything, or, well, doesn't know enough about the Navy to properly identify this particular ship, or he would be just too dazed to really care.
Roll an insight check.
Hey, insight's something he's actually good at.
Yay!
That would be a 21. 16 plus 5.
You've got a keen eye for conversation tonight, Kaban. And you've certainly been working your target for a little while now. An exhausted target. One that's been shipwrecked for a little while. No matter how good someone might be, the facade eventually shows cracks. This is not someone clueless. He didn't get to his current station by being oblivious. Odds are he might not have even been born into it. Seems like someone who knows how to climb. At least, that's what you can read as you see certain patterns of his speech, certain hints to the way he dodges your questions that tell of a practiced speaker. And as we all know, a practiced speaker wears a mask.
Well, Kaban's still pretty sure that he won't. Well, mostly sure he won't actually identify the place, but still at least a little bit hesitant, continues for a while, hoping to use at least the last bit of whatever of the drink he has left on this particular man. It's a funny thing being shipwrecked. You know, turns a lot of folks to something we wouldn't dream of them being on normal terms. I'm curious, how's your faith in your crew? After all this, I'm sure it's at least shaken some small measure.
Truth be told, I'm not so sure I can speak on behalf of my crew anymore. I'm not so sure I have a crew anymore. Crewmates, yes, but not a full crew. Look around. This hardly look like enough people to man a warship or even a sailing ship.
Of course not. But loyal friends can sometimes be the difference.
I know the difference between an employee and a friend. I know that sometimes they may overlap, but counting on one when you're using them as another, that is a recipe for disaster. Kaban.
Too true, I suppose. Too true indeed.
It's always
Come on.
important to remember what everyone's standing is around you. No matter where you are, no matter your situation, or you may be caught in something of a shipwreck of your own.
Well phrased, my fine friend. Well phrased indeed.
Thank you. Now, what do you say we finish off this drink and I help my crew settle in?
Ah, don't bother with that. I'll do it myself. You're in need of rest. And I think, if you wouldn't mind me suggesting, that perhaps your own quarters might be in order. After all, I do have a small room to myself, a little cluttered, but if you wouldn't mind one sailor to another, perhaps at least a friendly acquaintance to another, offering my bed instead of one with the rest of the crew.
I suppose if you are that keen to offer, I will take you up on it. Just know I won't be repaying the kindness any more than what it's worth.
Of course, I wouldn't expect anything less.
Good to have that out of the way then. Let's have at it. Kaban.
Let's indeed.
So, Kaban leads them down to his quarters?
Indeed, he does. And upon entering the quarters, they would find, well, not the roomiest of areas, and certainly not sparse of decoration, let's say. Across the walls, there are pages from books plastered here and there with tacks and pins and practically anything else he could get his hands on. There's even a dagger or two in place of certain tack.
Few comments are made. It seems that the liquor is finally beginning to settle in and fatigue with it. But you do get a slight bow from your guest. An appreciative
Kaban
bow.
takes off his hat and returns the bow. And with that, he leaves the quarters and makes way for the general crew quarters to, at the very least, help the rest of the crew settle in somewhat.
All right. We'll have that take place, and let's check in with Aura. Aura.
While she was thinking hard of like, okay, how to make this fit. Okay, and she repeats the words to herself, runs her hand over her head because she wanted to tug for her hair, but it's not there anymore. And she just like, need to get used to that. And she's going to sit down again, take the copper wire, repeat the casting spell, and start saying the words of 25. I'll continue to contact more. Sadly, I can cast this 2 times per day. A message of 25 words. It's lovely hearing you once again.
Her voice sounds back in your mind. It is Bowers, and she speaks. Thank you for using your magic on just me. I feel so special. And no, it was not Levi. I miss you, lovely Aura.
She got the messages sent, so she feels less bad. She's like, okay, the spell works, that's great. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this and hopefully not fight in the same day. And she's just going to put her stuff back, straighten the wire, put it back into her pouch and into her pocket. And she's going to unlock the door to go and check up on the upper deck to see how the crew is doing and how the new arrivals are also settling in.
All right. You start heading up there just in time to see them making their way down, led by Kaban. He's helping them all settle in below decks and finally get some rest. If there's anything else you guys would like to do, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to proceed with this week of travel.
No, other than that, I think Kaban's good. He doesn't really have anything else to do, I guess.
You may take a long rest, since we are passing another week of travel. And indeed, with our rule set, long rests are 1 week, and short rests are approximately 8 hours or like a night's sleep. It is the 9th day of spring's crow moon. You've been sailing for some time now and finally spy land in the distance. Soon enough, you've reached it. Isvolen. This fort is a place you remember, one where the Reflection managed to help take down a wyvern in the past. Though previously Isvolen didn't have any true docks, they've made a minor upgrade since then, offering a little boardwalk with a pair of rowboats tied to it. Upon arrival, Jidong seems most intrigued. Says Jidong. I didn't think that we would reach here so soon. I also don't remember there being any sort of accommodations for ships out here the last time that I'd passed by. Very interesting to see such changes on the northern water.
Well, what do you expect? After all, eventually they'd have to bring in some sort of port. Can't live on that rock for very long, at least not without some help. Shipments of some kind.
I suppose that's true. Well, I would like to thank you, all of you, on behalf of me and my crew. And I know that you did not ask for any coin for transporting us. So, instead, may I offer you either myself or one of my crew to stay on with you, as thanks for your rescue.
How would you finish out your duties if you...
My crew can act on behalf of me. They are crew now, yes, but if I so choose, I can turn them into vassals. I can have them be made a number of other roles. They can be my messenger. They can be my proxy in the dealings ahead.
Aura thinks spy. Spies definitely.
Does Aura think this to herself?
No, she's saying that. She's like, listen to it. Okay. She just like looks at you and just says, spies.
There's a tickle in your brain as she says, spies.
And Anita sends a tickle back and says, but the pretty one.
The pretty one indeed has the body of a rower, and she's, she's washed up a little bit since you
real.
got her.
All we've had is seawater.
Yeah, so she's still pretty salty, pretty sweaty. It's not like she has a change of clothes. No one's given any to her. I'm sure you could take her shopping if you kept her on with you, though. Anyways.
She's great to look at, she says in her brain. To your brain.
She could row
Yes,
the
that is,
keelboat.
that is,
She can.
that is,
You just see her smile a little bit. She has a smile in a little bit.
Xiao Ming catches this smile and smiles right back. Her teeth are glowing, and honestly, you're going to have to make a call. Do you try and take Jidong or perhaps one of his crewmates on with you, as is offered, or are you going to let this opportunity pass you by?
Anita does not want Jidong on the ship.
No.
She doesn't like the way he looks.
Yeah.
She doesn't like that he is of high ranking and could possibly identify what kind of ship they are actually on.
He has had a week on your ship.
He does need more time to be with us then.
Part of it was drunk, and most of it was hopefully not wandering the interior.
Sunstroke. He had to heal. Yes. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Plausible things.
Anita says, professionally, we cannot keep you from your duties, even if you have other ways of arranging them. And she turns to the three, Dali, Moki, and Xiaoming, and says, are there any amongst you who would like to stay and assist?
Dali speaks for them. As they are currently in my charge, I reserve the right to hand them over. And I will say that they will...
Dali or Jidong says this?
Oh, Jidong.
Okay.
And Jidong says, they are to be considered a gift. Their service for 1 year's time. If they choose to stay on longer, they may, as by then my contracts with them will have passed. But for now, if you decide that you would like to take up my gratitudes, please let me know.
He has an attitude. She says in her mind too. Tickles Anita's mind.
Anita glances at Kaban for any kind of affirmation.
Kaban returns the glance rather coldly. However, he does hold up a hand.
Kaban.
If I may, Jidong, I fear that ultimately the decision will be left up to Captain and the quartermaster. However, perhaps we should give them some time to converse privately and allow them to make their decision on their own. If you would, perhaps walk with me along this strange and rickety new addition to Isvalin.
I will walk with you for a moment, Kaban. But time is of the essence. Eventually, either I or those below me will have to set out. We have been held up for a fair while at sea, as you know. But I will come with you. For now. And he goes for a little walk with you, leaving Aura and Anita to discuss.
Did the three of his crew go with him?
If
or
you
are
shoo
they
them
still...
away.
We can keep talking in our heads.
No, that'd be awkward, just having a staring contest
Yeah.
with each other.
I think that would be quite funny.
So it's the two of us and the three
Yes. Xiaoming, Dali, Moki.
employees, whatever.
One thing, while you guys are having this conversation, I'd like to have Kaban converse a little while longer with Jidong, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go to that after hearing their conversation.
Should we take this to the captain's quarters?
No.
No. Okay.
Anita turns to the three and says, he speaks of the three of you like property. I don't like it.
Xiaoming shrugs. What are you gonna do? This is where it's at, and all told, it's been an opportunity for most of us. Jidong, Moki, I think I speak for both of them as well.
You mean Dali and Moki?
Ah, my God.
For sure.
GG. Moki, Dali, and me. We probably wouldn't be chosen under most circumstances for working with someone like this, someone who's so ambitious. He's going up and he's taking us with him. That's something I can appreciate.
Are there any amongst you three who would prefer to stay on the ship?
They shrug. Though, Dolly seems to shrug a little harder than everyone else.
Anita turns to him and says, are there any amongst you three who would prefer to stay with Ji Dong?
Dolly nods, fairly hard.
And the other two?
Xiao Ming, she said her piece. Moki is kind of overwhelmed by the way everything is transpiring. She's like,
Future map maker.
I didn't know this was all gonna happen. Oh no. Oh geez.
You still have your dream, right? Having a place to make
I
your
have a
maps?
lot of dreams.
And is one of those dreams being on a ship for maybe about a year longer?
I don't know if I like your ship. It's got you on it. She then walks over to you, short as she is, and kind of slaps Aura on the... Well, she goes for the shoulder.
okay.
It's too high, ends up on your thighs. She's like, got you, didn't I?
Or just for a few seconds, she was going to like cast a spell, but then she's like, oh, okay. It's
Moki continues. I've got a keen eye for a lot of things, you know. And I've certainly gotten an eye for the culture of your ship. And then she slaps you on the thigh again.
please don't touch me.
You're right. I guess I should have said her ship, and then she slaps you one more time while winking over at the quartermaster, Anita.
Well, Anita has absolutely made up her mind. One of them is fine. Just not Ji Dong. And if Dali doesn't want to, I hope he doesn't have to.
Do you make any decisions at this time, or do you wait for his return?
He's the one deciding which of the three, right?
No, he's offered you to pick one of his crew or himself.
Okay.
Yes.
I misunderstood. I thought you meant that he would choose which one of them stayed.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you get to choose. Which may mean you have further discussion to do, the two of you.
Fuck.
Go on.
She keeps touching me. She's like going to say it in her head, tickling Anita.
Big halfling eyes look up at you.
She's too clingy. She says in her head, tickling Anita.
Anita doesn't actually care. She kind of likes it when you're uncomfortable. The whole thing with the dead wife kind of grossed her out, and now you're after another dead person, so...
What do you say in reply? Do you say anything?
Anita says nothing to Aura right now, actually, and she just
Left
observes...
unread.
She observes the stillness of Xiao Ming, the stubbornness of Dali, and the eagerness of Moki. And Anita thinks that they need a little bit more eagerness on the ship. There's been some ups and downs. All this talk about, wages. I think Moki would be the best addition.
Do you say this?
Sure. Anita will say it out loud. Moki, I think you would be a fine addition to our crew.
You think that I would be the best addition? What is little old me gonna do? And she shrugs at you.
You're gonna scrub floors and make maps and probably wash dishes if Trisha will let you in the kitchen.
Oh, Trisha. She seems fun.
She's very fun.
Xiao Ming gives a knowing nod.
Xiao Ming, thank you for your honesty. If you believe that you have a good opportunity to succeed here, I want you to keep receiving that.
Xiao Ming gives a long sigh and says, whatever pleases Ji Dong will be enough for me. I'm sure there's a chance that I could grow into liking this crew, this ship. I'm just not sure if I've had that chance yet. I've been trying to help out with the sails this whole time, but that monkey keeps getting in the way. And there's this little lizard that kind of scampers around and bites me during my sleep.
Oh, that's Nettle. He does that if he likes you.
He loves my toes.
Yeah, a foot fetish.
So at this, Xiao Ming just kind of stifles some of her own laughter and goes, oh, did he learn that from anywhere?
If Kaban were here, he would be incredibly disappointed in you all.
Whoa. Okay.
So Aura,
Okay,
what do you
see.
say? You also have a mouth and a tongue and some teeth and no one to use them on right now, so.
Oh my god.
I cast Blight on everybody.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be...
Ultimate betrayals.
Oh,
man.
good.
Top 10
She would just
betrayals.
Well, it'll be nice, as I said, and I asked you before, Moki, about your map making skills. Keep touching me, though, and you'll go overboard, but you can be useful for our crew.
Oh, okay. Now, while the two of you consider who you were going to choose as your final decision, let's go over and continue that conversation between Jidong and Kaban. Ah, it's so good being by the water. Kaban, it's been interesting out here with you. I've certainly gotten to share in a good deal of fine drink, but I don't know whether my crew will be able to serve as well upon your ship. Yes, they are experienced, but they also weren't experienced enough to keep us from the storm. I tried to talk it down, but now that I have to offer one of them rather than myself, by the look of it, I worry that they won't be as ready to handle things with an experienced ship such as the Reflection. It does be like that from time to time. What can I say?
Perhaps. However, although I'd appreciate you not spreading this, I think the Reflection's quite a fine, staffed vessel. We'll be able to make up for at least a little bit of experience. And I guarantee you, they won't be inexperienced for very long. At least not with me around.
Well, a vessel like that, a fine vessel, deserves only the finest crew.
Drown him.
Mishka, you aren't hearing this conversation.
I know.
And he
But it's
lays a
gone.
hand upon Kaban's shoulder.
I'm a friendly suggestion. I'm one of his personalities.
Aye, fine indeed. Kaban is clearly at least a little on the defensive. However, he doesn't yet say anything. Well, no matter, I suppose. Although I must admit, I did seclude us for a reason. I wish to speak with you privately.
Well, what is it you wish to speak on?
You see, Kaban leans back over one of the posts of the port, or of the dock. In my time, I've had more than a few proofs of the divine, in one way or another. If you recall me mentioning something about being familiar with being stranded in a shipwreck, that was one of those times. You see, I've heard tale of what's been going on in Yanfu as of late. It worries me greatly. I've rarely ever been, however, that temple district, I do know it has more than a few ancient relics of many of the Meridian's faith, particularly my own.
I find it interesting that you should speak on this, Kaban. In all the time that I've known you, ever since you plucked me and my friends from the water, you haven't really spoken of your own motivation, your own ambitions, and you strike me, truth be told, as someone who may lack them, Kaban. This, however, doesn't have to be such a bad thing. I like you, Kaban. His grip on your shoulder tightens. I like you quite a bit. And I wonder, hearing you share not ambition, but a worry with me, perhaps if I were to let you ride some of my own goals that may align with your concern, just how much could we accomplish? A fine ship deserves a fine crew, and it's nearly got one. But the finest ship deserves to be shown in the finest ports. I could help make that happen. Kaban.
I must admit, I'm not entirely sure what you're implying, my friend. However, I suspect perhaps we could agree on some sort of arrangement.
If you happen to convince them that taking me rather than one of my subordinates is the correct decision. I'm sure we can accomplish a lot, Kaban. Perhaps we will even be able to sail into Yanfu Palace someday soon and right all of these things that you say are wrong. Working together, I think it could be done. My ambition, your faith. My knowledge, your crew. Our ship.
And with the word "our," Kaban's expression sours. So you mean mutiny, then?
I never said mutiny.
No, said not, but clearly implied.
I believe mutiny is a word that you have placed into my mouth. Come on. I hope you will choose much prettier things to put there instead. Words that have elegance, words that have show, words that have power, words whose force comes from a place fitting of someone like myself and someone like you.
I fear in all this time you haven't learned too much about me, sir. I've signed a contract with Aura and Anita. Now, I may sound rather critical of them in certain aspects, particularly of their decisions of how to run the reflection. But my loyalty to them is the same of my loyalty to my mistress Stelia herself. I am not a man of ambition, for I need no ambition of my own. I have theirs to worry. And as far as you and I are concerned, sir, I suspect we will not see each other again.
I wouldn't be so sure of that. Kaban. Fate has a strange way of binding people. I believe, from the perspective of your Meridian Kingdom, it would be that of a red thread, a tie between those who are destined to meet. And however far they may go, however entangled it may become, it is far easier to let that tie pull you back together than to find a way to sever it. Going against fate, my culture also knows better than to do that. We let its tides rise and fall and wash over us, and though we may pray or sacrifice or offer to find ways of helping the low tide be far, far shorter than the high, sometimes it is necessary. It is a certain balance. We cannot all be loved by fate. We cannot all have our fortune be where we want it to be. And we cannot all have that red string be connected to someone we want it to be with. But you and I have a feeling, Kaban, we are bound by that string. Let's go back. Think on what I've said. Perhaps make a suggestion of your own to the captain and quartermaster on who you think should be staying upon this ship you sail.
Indeed, it is time for our return. With that, Kaban turns rather curtly and makes his way back to the reflection.
The pair returns, and now you have this full group here, and the final decision to make.
As Kaban comes back up on deck, he motions for the captain and quartermaster to join him on the quarterdeck so they may talk, at least away from prying ears for a moment.
The three of you join up on the quarterdeck, away from prying ears.
Okay, we're slowly going there while I'm getting stuff ready.
Once at least a little ways out of earshot, Kaban, clearly with a very sour taste in his mouth, speaks. Should have left G-Dong on the rot he'd sailed out on.
We should not worry
I
about
wanted to
it.
kill them all, and you guys convinced me not to.
Well, it's always I'm trying to have a different tactic.
Well,
This time around.
hindsight is 2020, as it's so told.
Did you discuss anything interesting, Kaban? You looked bitter.
He tried to make me an offer. I refused.
Glad to hear it. Let's get him off the ship.
Definitely. And next
I-
time if we see him on the waters drowning, does that sound like a thing that we could do?
Sure.
I'll put him out of our misery myself.
Beautiful. I know my decision.
You go right ahead.
And she's going to just politely, nod before she leaves. So she'll politely nod, and she'll walk out. We have made a decision.
Moki's eyes go really big and expectant at you.
I believe in a balanced crew. I believe that even though you 3 or 4 have talents of your own, I definitely know that some will be more beneficial for the long run for us. She'll look one by one at each of them, not showing any emotion. And then her eyes will go back and look at Xiaoming, and she's going to say, "You, for a year, you'll be joining the crew of the Reflection, Xiaoming."
Xiaoming nods. I understand. I will say goodbye. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I will do my best. And if my best is not enough, please let me know. I can always get better. Sometimes I just need a little helping hand, a little instruction. And for the love of God, get an exterminator on this ship before I go crazy during the night having my toes bitten off. And with that, Xiaoming joins the crew. She takes a moment to say goodbye to the rest of them. She hugs Dolly. She puts Moki on her shoulders for just a moment and then throws her into the water. They laugh. They have a great time, but you note that there may be some tears amidst the splashing on Moki's part. And she gives a very long hug to the fellow Jidam.
Okay.
With that, she returns to your side, and the rest of them walk off, perhaps to be seen again someday.
Restock and resupply before we continue.
Let's see if they have anything that needs to go to West Einken.
Fair hoisting. No. Put down that anchor.
The opposite of hoist.
I'm like, what is the words that I hear?
If you are hoisting, please do the reverse.
Reverse it. Reverse it.
Anita just wants to take a minute to talk to the leaders of Ishval, and
All right.
Yeah, it's been a while.
it has been a while. Say, hey, you remember us? We were the Wyvern Killers. You got anything going to West Einken?
Up there at their little fort, you are able to identify yourselves, and then the gates open for you. Though you may not have had an opportunity to speak with all of the warriors here before, it seems that they appreciate having Wyvern Slayers in their company. Your legend grows in this small corner of the world.
Whilst this is going on, can I have Kaban send one of the crew into town to... Can I have Kaban accompany Anita and have him send one of the crew into town to look to see if there's any particular sun goggles of some sort that might aid him?
Yeah, you can ask someone. You can ask Xiaoming, the newest of the crew, to go and look for you. But this is really more of a fort than a town, so you may be limited on what is discovered.
Well, I'll go ahead and do that and accompany Anita into the presence of these strange Einar warriors.
I'll be there as well.
All right. So as you go up there, you see that there's a face that you don't recognize, who is helping kind of command things, and he looks at you and he goes, "Oh, wow, whoa, wait, yeah, you got," and he kind of waves all the other people around to come over here as he keeps making these vocalizations. It's them. Hey, you guys. I know we didn't really talk the last time you were here, but I was part of the old team that was sent to help scout out all those wyverns and stuff, and well, you're the ones who got them, because I was technically involved in all of that, even though you didn't really see me. They helped bump me up a little bit, and now I'm kind of interim running things here for a little bit. You know how it is when the big old bosses are out there. They'll be back soon enough. Don't worry about it. Welcome. What can I do you for?
Congratulations on the promotion. We're heading back to West Einkin, and we need to know if you have any items that need transporting.
Oh, well, actually, I was looking if someone could ferry a request to West Einkin Tribe Mother to trade them. We need them to trade some blacksmiths to us for a year. Now that we can finally breathe without the wyvern attacks, it's time to shore up our defenses against any future Corrin blockade attempts or roving O'Meary ravagers. I can give you 170 gold right now if you accept honor system that you'll be getting it there.
Of course, you know we have honor.
If you're
What is
looking
your
to do
name?
any more slaying, though, I can offer something else that might interest you.
And what is your name?
My name is Ekifor. If you're interested in something a little more hands-on, I know that it's probably going to seem like nothing compared to what you guys have already done out here. But we've also had a bit of a problem lately. Some nasty fellows building up a cannon-clad bunker on the northern tip of Roken Island. They've been using it to harass and sink ships passing through, and they really need to be cleared out. They might have at least one boat, since I can only imagine they're doing this to plunder whatever sinks. I can give you 100 gold when you accept, and 750 gold after you can confirm the completion back with me here again.
Kaban pipes up at this. Quite a base, sounds like. I wouldn't be rather fast to get to it, considering our current charter is taking precedent. However,
Where are you headed?
West Einkin, in fact.
It's right on the way. Although I guess you'd have to double back to check in with me after for the rest of the reward, but...
Perhaps if we continued along our way towards our destination and took care of this blockade, this
Bunker.
fort, as it were, on our way returning to you.
If you can get it on the way out there, that would be better. Otherwise, we might offer the reward to someone else who gets it before you. It really is something that needs to be handled.
I can imagine being so close along the route from Einkin to here would likely interfere with more than a few ships along the way. It's nearly a week to get around, I expect.
We'll try to stay on the northern coast, but any that get blown kind of southwards and have to pass by Roken Island, that's when they come into trouble. And anything getting blown that far off course is already having a tough time.
Indeed.
So 100 gold now and 700 upon return.
750 upon your return.
If I may make a suggestion, captains, we could feasibly go to this Roken Island, whatever that may be, take care of this bunker, and make our way to Einkin. Take care of their message request, and then, on the return, collect both bounties.
He's giving us 175 for taking the request. That's pretty good. And maybe West Einkin will have actual work for us to deliver?
Perhaps. But the presence or non-presence of work is not something so easily judged by any without divination.
We might as well take the gold while we can.
I'm so glad to hear that I'll be getting you guys on the case. You taking both jobs, then?
Of course.
He claps his hands, and one of the other warriors brings out some gold. 170 gold for the job to ferry a request to the West Einkin Tribe Mother for blacksmiths to come out. And then 100 gold on top of that for the second request, clearing out that cannon bunker on the northern tip of Roken Island.
Kaban holds up his hand. Before we accept this, if I may act on behalf of the ship, I have a favor to ask you, sir.
A favor? What kind of a favor can I do you for?
Kaban signals him to lean in a little so he can whisper in his ear.
He leans in real close, and you can smell that warrior musk.
There's a man upon your island, Chidong. I want him watched. I want to know what he's been up to when we come back. He'll probably be leaving in a couple days. I still want to know.
If I see him doing anything out here, I'll let you know. Most people don't stay here for long, though.
Perhaps, but nonetheless, you keep quiet. He must not know we're being suspicious of him.
Of course. I'll send only the best hunters and scouts to look out for him.
I appreciate your assistance. And with that, Kaban walks away from the man and nods to Aura and Anita.
Would that be all for tonight?
Oh, God, I have to do so much inventory and stuff for all the wages of these. It's been 3 weeks so far, right?
3 weeks in total since you began your voyage.
Okay, and then...
Oh, what did the new crew member find? Did they find anything?
Unfortunately, no. There's not really anything that specific out here.
We can take a look in West Ankin again. Maybe we can do
probably.
like actual like game mechanic searchings and stuff for it.
Yeah.
Anita only has 2 weeks left until she is proficient in water vehicles.
Which
So that's going to be by the end of this journey.
Very cool.
Well, wait, that should be covered by the time we get to Roken Island, right?
No,
It's
Roken
1
Island's
week
gonna be
to
like
Roken
1 week,
Island
yeah.
and then another
Okay.
week to West Einkin because we have 2 weeks left
Alright.
there.
All right.
I got my Microsoft Excel spreadsheets.
So then next time we're gonna be going from here, sailing out, perhaps stopping at Roken Island on the way very briefly, and then continue on to West Einkin.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. The crew of The Reflection has managed to get a few more things done and grow, strangely enough, perhaps attracting some unwanted attention. Hard to say. There's certainly some subtext
Big
here.
yike.
Big yike.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem later.
A singular yike.
One whole yike.
A yike and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, you guys. Thanks for coming. Anyone who's listening in, I appreciate it. Catch us again next time for the Book of Winter. The book of the Reflection.
Where are you?
The Book of Reflections, Chapter 4. And if you haven't already heard it, try tuning into the Book of Winter's Wealth. It's a 2-person campaign as of right now. Couple of halflings.
It has video.
With some video,
And art.
more visuals, more art.
And art.
It's really kind of like the flagship thing that we've been trying to do, whereas this one here is really just trying to continue something that we've been at for a while that is so fun. We wanted to bring you guys in to see it as well. So give a listen, give a watch, and
Give a like, comment, and subscribe.
if you think they earned it.
Always tell us all.
Yeah.
You really think it's Moki?
Oh, definitely.
No.
Oh, yes.
I think they bully her.
I know.
Ghoul, do you think it's Moki?
She's going
I
to
mean,
I believe
At
she's gonna
this
become
point, I assume it's
confident.
all of them.
Oh, yeah, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Xiaoming could just as easily be a spy. The
She's
way
got that
she-
rower body, though.
Yeah, the way
Yeah.
that she hugged Jidong before he left.
Yeah, that's what I was also noticing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, she also got to know Trisha Ku, allegedly.
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 Supposedly. Uh-huh.
All right. Y'all have a good night now.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.